Welcome to this week's lesson. Thank you very much for joining us for the second part of Hebrews chapter 1. We continue from where we left off when we were proving that Christ is God. In this lesson, we're going to look at two things. One, Paul says Christ created the universe. And two, Paul says, "Today I have begotten you." What do these two statements mean? What do these two statements refer to? Okay, so no doubt Paul believed that Christ created the earth. He says that in verse 2, where he says, "By whom he also made the earth," or "through whom he also made the universe." Now, what Paul is saying is that Jesus is the creator. And to the Jewish Christian, God is the only one who can create. Attributing creation to Christ is in essence making him God. In verse 10 of Hebrews chapter 1, Paul says again, "And thou, Lord, in the beginning has laid the foundation of the earth." Now, this verse was known to refer to God the Father. And here Paul is using it to refer to Christ. So what Paul is saying in essence is that Jesus is Lord. He's saying Jesus is Lord and is emphasizing on his divinity. He is not just an angel. He is not only superior to angels, but is God himself. The second verse, which is of interest, is Psalms chapter 2, which has like saying that, "Today I've begotten you, you have become my son, and I've become your father." Now, this verse seems to suggest that God, Jesus, was created by God, or was birthed by God, or came into existence after God came into existence. A child can only come after the father. So it is this idea that then propels that Jesus is not God, but is just a superior angel. But is that what Paul meant when he said that? Now, the source of this quotation is Psalms chapter 2, which says that it was used as a triumphant song, which was meant to celebrate kings that come from victory. So in essence, it was a victory song for a king, and people would say, "You have now become the Son of God." What were they meaning? They meant that, on this day, you have proved that indeed you are the Son of God. You are the chosen Son of God through this victory. So on the day itself, the day of victory, it marked a beginning, a manifestation of sonship. It's like an adoption. Like God was saying when he was talking in Psalms 2, that "I have adopted you. You are now my son. You come and be ruler over all these things." That's what it meant when it was written in Psalm chapter 2. And we all appreciate and know that there are verses in the Bible, especially in the Old Testament, that have dual application. They apply to the incident that is happening, and they also apply to what will happen in the future. So they've got a dual application. So when Paul then quotes this verse in Acts chapter 13, verse 30 to 33, he's saying that, Christ has been confirmed as the Son of God because of his resurrection. The resurrection of Christ was very strong, and it was a pillar in the faith of the Christians as the movement began. So they're saying his resurrection proves that he is indeed the Son of God. Then he chooses that verse because they know that that child of David, who was Solomon, was going to be adopted to become God's son. So in this verse, Paul is using that idea, not the words as in one for one, but the idea that this person is indeed the Son of God. That was the proof. So Paul is essence just saying that the Christ that you're waiting for in Psalms chapter 2 that David was talking about is the one that resurrected. And this resurrection proves that indeed he is the Son of God. Now, Paul then hammers further the idea that Christ is superior to angels. That's what he'll be talking about when he says, "Did he ever say to any angels, 'Come, and I'll make the earth your footstool'?" And the answer is no, he never said that to angels. But he said it to Christ, to Jesus Christ, his son. In verse 6, he says that, "And let all the angels worship him What is it referring to? And let all the angels worship him. He is saying that angels should worship Christ. And no one is worthy of worship, only God. So Paul is emphasizing that, yes, let's worship Jesus Christ. Angels should worship Jesus Christ because he is God. He is God, the Creator. Paul says in verse 8 again, "O thy throne, O God, thy throne is forever and ever." Now, when he's saying, "O God," he is not referring to God the Father. He's referring to Christ. And I think there's another verse that says, "And he said, my Lord to my Lord," as if referring to himself, but was referring to Jesus Christ. So Paul, in essence, is just saying that Christ is superior to angels and is better than angels. But not only that, Christ is God indeed. The Son of God is God. I think this helps us have a certain image and understanding of the role that Christ played at salvation and the role that Christ plays in our lives today. May the Lord add a blessing to the reading of his word. Amen.